Hello and welcome to another EGW Writings Tech Tips. I'm your host, Darryl Thompson. Thank you for joining us today in another of our series on learning how to use the new egwwritings.org website. I'm going to be showing you today, within a reader in a book, all the little tools that are associated with that reader. And it's something that's very useful if you want to do research or change the size, change the font, or make it bigger or smaller, or be able to do some other little features like copying or selecting the text. All those tools are available within the reader, and I'm going to show you how to use them right now. In front of me, I have opened the website. When you open up egwwritings.org, this is what you will see. If you want to go to a particular book, I'm just going to open up EGW Writings in here, and I'm going to jump straight into the Acts of the Apostles. Now, when I've opened up the Acts of the Apostles here, you can see that you'll notice the color of the text at the top looks a little different from the text that is in chapter 1. And you say, well, why would you do that? Well, this is so that you know that this preface, if it's not in the text here, if it's in dark mode, it's white text, and if it's in day mode, it's black text. So let me just quickly switch back into day mode so that you can see the difference here. So you can see the text is black, but here it's not. It's like a mauve sort of color. This is non-ellenwhite text, where this is ellenwhite text. So that is why we have colored this, so that's not something, if you want to quote it, you shouldn't be quoting non-ellenwhite text as such. So I'm just going to switch it back in here to dark mode because it shows up better on the cameras here for you to see. So you can see that this mauve color here, this is not ellenwhite text, where the white text is ellenwhite text. So that's process number one. Now you may notice at the end of every paragraph, there is what we call a ref code. And it's the book code followed by the page, followed by the paragraph number. So that's what we call here ref code. And you can turn this on and off if you like. Up in the top here, do you see this little tiny icon that has the parentheses and then has a little slash in there? So in that is the icon to turn on and off. See, when I turn it on, there is the ref code. When I turn it off, the ref code is gone. So that's the ref code at the end of the paragraph. Now there's some other tools here that you can see, and this has a P and an N. When you read through the digital text, all right, and you read through the digital text here, it's nice and clean. I can actually add in, though, the page numbers. Now what we have done is, if you look and compare the Acts of the Apostles to the printed book, compared to this, you will notice that the pages always start neatly in our text at the end of a paragraph. But in a printed book, this is not the case. So you say, well, if I want to reference this in my article, how do I know where the page breaks are? Well, that is what this page break symbol here is for. And it says show page breaks. And you can see the little tooltip that I've shown there. And when I've enabled that, as you scroll through here, if you come across one of these little tiny symbols, that you know that the original printed book, page 15, started where this symbol is. It didn't start at the end of the paragraph neatly. We've done that so that you can read clearly through the book in a digital experience. But if you want to reference it, this text here to the end of the paragraph actually is part of page 15 in the original printed book, just so you know. So that is how that you turn that on and off. Now back here again, that's where we turned on and off our page and paragraph ref codes. The next one here is show translations. If I turn on the translation bubble, as I like to call it, when I hover over here, I can actually say, okay, let's switch to all languages, because I've logged in and I've only selected English as my language. But I could come across here and I could say, Espanol. So now you'll notice that I've opened up the book here in Spanish. So I have the same paragraph here and here side by side. So that is, the ability to be able to paralink, what we call in our website the paralink, link the paragraphs between languages. And I'm just going to close that window here and come back. So that's it if you do multiple languages. Let me just turn off these here. So we just have them all off again. Now the next thing that you can do is maybe the font size, the default font size is actually too small, or maybe it's too large. You can set the font size up by clicking the little A, capital A, and then to make it smaller, little lowercase a letter here. And you can see as I click that, it reduces down and then it increases up. So you can see here, if you're on a trackpad and you don't have a mouse, I can actually increase the font by doing a pinch and zoom motion. See how I can increase and decrease the font size here, right there, by pinching and zoom. And I can, if I pinch it down, it goes back and reduces. So you can do that. If you have a scroll wheel, you can hold down the control and scroll. Or you can just, when you're holding down the control and hit your scroll wheel, it will do the same effect, just so you know. Or if you're on your screen, you can actually pinch and zoom. So I'm just going to get the font size set here so that it looks normal. So let's come back to the behind view here. And you can see you can also change the font. And we have changed to our default font to be Roboto Condensed. You could just use straight Roboto. We have Roboto Slab style. We have an italic style here in Merriweather. And then we have a sans font, if you prefer a sans font. And then we have even a bold font if you have difficulty in seeing. So we just got a few different default fonts there that you can play around and find a font that works for you. And then a font size that works for you. And if you're logged in, it will remember that size and font for you the next time you come back to the website. Okay, so let me just come back to the default Roboto Condensed. All right, so that's basically all the little tools. And something you may have noticed is on the left-hand side here in the tree is that it's great to have the tree open to simply navigate through. And as I showed you in a previous tutorial, you can navigate up here through the reader, hitting next chapter through that method, or you could come over here and click the next chapter in the tree here. If you happen to have the tree closed to get a full screen experience, you still have the next chapter navigation over here, or the next paragraph right here. Or, like I showed you before, you can actually come in here and you can type in an exact page and it will take you there. And you say, how do I know? Well, if I turn my ref code back on, you can see that we're at 27.1. But you can also, if you have the ref code turned off so it looks nice and clean, you can always see where you are up here as well. So as I navigate through the different chapters, you can see chapter 6 starts at 57, and you can navigate all the way through. And you don't have to have the ref code on at the end at all. You can just use this up here as your ref code reference of where you are in the book. All right, so basically that is all the tools so far on that. But you say, maybe I'm wanting to copy the text. How do I copy the text? Well, let me show you. If you just click your mouse and run your mouse through, you can copy the paragraph or any sentence that you like. And as soon as you copy that, it pops up and it gives you here these tools. And I'm going to go through all these tools here in the Study Center paragraph. If I happen to be logged out, so let me just click here and log out. All right, so if I log out and I come back into the book, so let me quickly drop back into Acts of the Apostles here, jump in a couple of books. If I happen to select the text here, you can see that the tool box pops up to just the basic set of tools. If I want all the Study Center tools, you actually have to be logged in, of course. So, you've got this here is useful, and I'm for doing the search. This is for copying, printing, sharing, but all those tools I'm going to go through in the next tutorial and show you how to use the toolbox in our reader for copying, selecting, pasting, and all those types of features and functions that you can use in the Study Center. All right, well, thanks for joining us. I've gone through and waxed long on showing you how to use the different features within the reader on the egwwritings.org website. Thanks for joining us for that tutorial. I hope it's been useful to you, and you can use some of those tools and features in your own user experience while you're using the egwwritings.org website. Thanks for joining us today. Have a nice day. Bye for now.